The Collins Center for the Arts hosted the annual UMaine Student Symposium today. It takes place at the end of Maine Impact Week, which includes many events for the community to get a look into the research being done at the university. Both graduate and undergraduate students across a variety of disciplines presented their inventions, research, and more to judges and their peers. The one-on-one interactions provided students the chance to not only display their work, but to also have conversations that can help them advance their work.
It definitely showed me how much I understand it, points that I could improve on, areas that I could look further into as people have asked questions that we haven't fully considered. It also has helped me to realize the full potential, the interest that people could have in it.
Today we had an exhibit which was amazing. I feel like we had so much more opportunity to interact with people when we were able to actually bring the VR sets, and people were much more engaged in our conversation, I feel.
Award winners from the symposium will be posted on the university's website.